You know, record collecting has been a big hobby of mine. I've really enjoyed it and the experiences of it. But to be honest, I find it quite ridiculous and insane. For me, I spent 3 months looking for one record just to find it for $85. What am I talking about? Vinyl records are ridiculous. Not because they sound bad, or they're outdated, or they're too expensive. They're ridiculous because somehow, in the modern world that we live in now, where I can touch any song that I need to at all, and listen to anything that I want to at any given time, I've chosen a hobby where I've had to hunt down big pieces of plastic discs that are just super fragile and will ruin everything completely unless I take the tiny edges of it. And somehow, on top of it, I can never seem to find the one record that I'm looking for in particular. It's just never there. I talk to the person. Oh, how can I help you? What do you need? Oh, I just need the one record. Sorry, we don't have it. You never do. You know what? I love it. So in today's video, I kind of want to go over my experiences of my record collecting journey, all the things I've loved about it, all the things I'm not so much of a fan of, and why I just simply can't get myself out of debt. Let's just start with one of my biggest gripes that I have with this whole hobby and this collection thing in general. Finding the record that you actually want. Alright, so think of this. You're in the store, you're like, man, I can't wait to get that one album I'm really looking for. You walk in, you look at all the sections. Rock, alternative, pop, classical, all the great stuff. And you're just taking a browse and you're looking around and you're saying, I wonder if they'll have it today, which they always never have. And then of course, you can't find it, which you never can, and you go up to the person like, hey, do you have it? And this is basically how the interaction goes. Hey, how's it going today? Oh, it's going fantastic. How can I help you? Yeah, hi, I'm just looking for this one particular record. Do you guys have that in stock, maybe? I just couldn't find it. Oh, let me check and let me see if it's in stock. And it's not there. Alright, that's okay. Do you guys have a time maybe of when it will come back and I can purchase it? Unfortunately, they've just been discontinued. Of course they have. Alright, well, thank you. Now, I'm not saying this is the case for everything, but it's giving you a good idea of most places never have things that you're looking for. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of places where I've been able to collect my records, build up my collection, but really, most of the time I'm just sitting there walking around with discontinued products which I just saw the other day. I mean, sometimes I'll see a record go online and I'll be like, oh, perfect, I'll pick it up. Then the store comes to me and says, oh, it's no longer available. Really? Then how did you just sell it the other day? Just must be coincidence then. Needless to say, as ridiculous as it is, I find it really enjoyable even still to go around and find everything that I need to and look for a specific record, even if it takes me 3 to 5 months or hell, even 2 or 5 years. But one day, you best believe, I'm gonna find that record. Now, let's talk about my least favorite part about this hobby, the pricing. Now, here's the thing, I don't mind paying a little bit more because it's a physical cover. I mean, I know that we have every single album that we ever want right at our fingertips, but $85 is a bit expensive sometimes. I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand that I'm paying a little bit of a premium because I'm getting the physical copy of everything and, you get to look at all of the artwork and the designs and all. Is it really worth the price? Now, don't get me wrong, I still love collecting and I always will, but it's a little bit absurd of how sometimes I have to go to the register and it's ridiculous. Some artists will release deluxe versions of their albums. I have strong feelings. We might make another video on that. And you'd be like, oh, this album is so great. It's just wonderful. And then the deluxe comes out and you're like, even better, more songs. Of course, until you find out that the original one that you bought isn't the deluxe one, so you need to go back out again to buy the exact same album that you just bought, which, by the way, costs more money. And on top of that, it's the exact same thing that you bought with only 3-4 songs difference with double the price to it, because why not? Oh, did you find everything you needed today, sir? Yeah, no, I actually did. Oh, well, I'm so glad. Oh, let me scan this for you. Oh, yeah, thank you so much. Right, will that be cash or card today, sir? Card today. Alright, then, well, today, your final price will be $105. What? Just $105 for that one. how can it be 105? Well, just with tariffs and taxes and higher demands, the product unfortunately has increased in price. Tariffs, taxes, how does it even affect the business? And high on demand, there's 12 of them on the shelf. I am sorry, sir, but those are just the rules. Now, don't get me wrong, I really do enjoy this hobby, but to be honest, paying $100 plus for just one single album, even though you've bought it before with the previous deluxe version, everything, and all the other stuff that you have to buy with it, it's kind of ridiculous. And on top of that, sometimes artists release collector's editions where there's 6 versions, and if you collect them all, then you can get the secret bonus track on each of them. At this point, they're just milking me. Of course, it can never be just one album. You have to have all of its friends, obviously. And of course, buying more just racks up the price even higher. Now, let's just say for the hypotheticals of it, that you wanted to buy the whole Taylor Swift catalog. All 12 solo records that she has to her name. Not including any deluxes or alternative versions, just the core albums themselves. Now, the average price here in Australia for one single record is pretty expensive. It's about $80 at a minimum, sometimes $75, sometimes a little bit more. I guess it depends on who you're buying from, but we'll use 80 as just a general number. If you wanted to buy her entire catalog and collect the whole thing, it would cost you $960, almost a full grand just to purchase her whole catalog and to collect everything, not including alternative versions, deluxes, nothing. Because if we're including that as well, we might as well bump it up to $1,500. Needless to say, having every album from a single artist is really cool in my opinion. You have the whole collection. Me personally, I don't have every single album from one artist yet, but I do hope to eventually with a few separate artists. But for me, it just seems nowadays that they're getting more expensive, more difficult to find, and it's just becoming ridiculous. Now, storage is a whole separate topic. As much as I like having all of my records with me, it definitely does take a toll in the storage sense. They're not necessarily small. Don't get me wrong, buying one single album isn't that big, but once they start to add up and once your collection grows, it really does start to take a toll on your physical space. For me, I'm not exactly there yet. I only have about 3 cases of songs, but still, I'm not too picky with this one, only just because everything takes up space. It's a physical object. Now, let me just say this. Yes, they are fragile. Yes, if some random weird cousin decides to pick them up and try using them, they will scratch, they will break. You might get a few skips in them. Isn't too great, but it could always be worse. Now, my always recommendation is just to hold it on the side, put it on the tray, and that's it. Let it turn, let it spin, let it do everything it needs to. But I'm going to be honest, sometimes it doesn't get like that. I've had records that have sat in storage for ages, and I've decided, oh, you know, it would be good to have it a quick spin and just play the album in a run through. And somehow, for some reason, it got a skip on it. I don't understand why, and I don't understand how. It just happens. But then again, it's like having CDs, someone can scratch it by accident, something can happen with the case. That's one of the risks that you just take with having physical things. Eventually they'll get worn down and damaged. I've seen a lot of people really try and preserve their records by having plastic sleeves cover the whole thing, which isn't a terrible idea, but for me really, I don't care too much about the outside cover. Eventually it's going to yellow away anyway. But as long as the music's kept in good quality and everything sounds nice, I don't mind too much. Now, on top of that, let's talk about some online shipping. The waiting game is kind of ridiculous when it comes to everything. I mean, let's say I want to purchase a record and there's just none in Australia. Say I have to go to the US to buy it. They'll say to me, well, it's going to take you about 4 months to get here. And then once it gets here, you know, it could just be completely damaged. Not our fault. We put the caution tape on it. We said fragile object. That's it. That's all we can do. And then, of course, you come back here and you decide, oh, I'm so excited to play it. Then you finally put it on, and then it doesn't even work. Now, I'm not saying that this is for every record, but it's definitely a common pattern or theme. I've bought a few records from the US or come from separate countries, and most of my experiences haven't been terrible yet. Sometimes they have been questionable. But overall, it hasn't been too awful. But I will say, and we might as well get into this now, one thing I forgot to mention is that, say if you want to buy something in a completely separate country, no problem, they want to buy it in their currency. The problem is the Australian dollar is so terrible that everything is double the price. If I want to buy something in the US, for example, it's going to be double. Say if it's about $40, for here it might be about $80 or a little bit less than that, which is kind of ridiculous, but at the same time it kind of makes sense, the exchange rates and everything. I'm not taking a huge gripe on that, but it only adds to the fact that everything is just getting super expensive regardless. And of course, always in the US, you guys have basically everything that I need, always. Now, I realize that in this whole video so far, I've been very negative about my hobby that I really enjoy, so let me talk about a few of the positives. Now, when it comes to sound quality, I really think the superior way to listen to an album is on a vinyl record. Now, I get it, some people are going to completely disagree with me, and you know what, good for you. But for me personally, I always think that if you have a good sound system with you, and you can plug it in and play it, it's going to sound really good. Putting it on the table, and just listening to the thing the whole run through, really gives a completely unique and different experience. Now, of course, my CD friends who listen to their albums on those will definitely have a completely separate opinion, and a lot of you guys who would listen to streaming would have a completely different compared to me. But I definitely do think that the superior way to listen to it is on a vinyl. I think it really does capture the sound that you're really looking for when you're listening to something. And on top of that, there's a lot of memories attached to certain albums that I'm able to go back and revisit to, and I've really enjoyed a lot of. So it really gives me the pleasure when I'm able to go back and have a really fun experience and be able to listen to the whole thing without it ever being able to be taken off or taken away from me, because I'll always have the physical product with me, which is why I like collecting so much. I will always have the record with me as it's a physical product, and it will always just be great to have with me at all times whenever I need it. Now, in my conclusion, are records hard to get? Yes. Are records expensive? Yes. Are they a pain in the ass to carry and move around from different places? Absolutely. But there's so many joys of being able to have the collecting, the sound experience, the artwork that you're able to see, all gives even more motive to, for me, start to collect them and to be able to enjoy the experience of having them. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of places that do sell it for a discounted price. You can definitely get some albums cheaper than compared to others. But I just find this hobby for me just so interesting and always captivating, and I'll always enjoy it for. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you sticking around here while I yap for like 10 minutes about my experiences with all this stuff. If you liked the video, I highly suggest that liking and subscribing. It really helps me out. And yeah, I'd really appreciate it. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.